Welcome to my channel on self-improvement and spirituality in practice. My name is Greicy Hoo. I'm a therapist and independent spiritualist. Today, I'd like to talk about your spirit mentor or guide. Yes, you have someone on the other side of life, the astral plane, that is your spiritual friend, responsible for helping you in this lifetime, in your current incarnation. Actually, this is one of the subjects I like the most, spirituality, like self-improvement, and that's why the name of my channel, because I love to study and learn about those subjects since I was much younger, decades ago. So I have a few things to talk about this because I grew up in São Paulo, Brazil, and Portuguese is my first language. So I had and still have access to amazing books written by disincarnated spirits. And I don't know if you're aware of this, but Brazil is a very rich country, at least in terms of spirituality. And it's very common to go to a place to have spiritual assistance, spiritual help from spirits, which are just disincarnated people, right? Bad people. It's very common to have access to information from the other side, considering that the mediums are honest. Because, con people, scammers are anywhere, right? Mediumship is very common in Brazil, especially if you don't have a narrow mind
formed by
severe religions. It's common to have places for spiritual help where mediums, the word is not incorporate because the spirit doesn't enter into their bodies. The disincarnated spirit stays
by their side,
sending ideas to the medium's mind. There are different types of mediumship. There is the unconscious, which is very rare today, when the medium doesn't remember anything after the manifestation. The most common mediumship is that one where the medium remembers, at least partially, what was said. I myself have contact with disincarnated spirits. So the thing is, your spirit mentor or guide. Actually, in Portuguese, we use both words, mentor and guide. But I think guide wouldn't be so appropriate because
it could give the impression
that you have someone guiding you, like if you were lost or blind. And that's not the case, in my opinion, because we have free will. So I rather use the term spirit mentor. What is a spirit mentor? When you were disincarnated on the other side,
eventually you may have had
the need to come back to Earth, to this physical world, to have experiences or to make peace with someone from your past. It doesn't matter. Your spirit felt the need
to reincarnate.
And I have to say that the line to come back to this world is very long. So it's not so easy to get a chance and to be successful in getting a physical body and be born here. It's a lot of trouble. It's a lot of work, much more complicated than disincarnating or leaving the physical body or just dying. Actually, your spirit doesn't die, it's eternal, but your physical body dies. So, well, if you are here, it's because you could have the chance to reincarnate, right? But before you got the opportunity to have a woman accepting you in her womb, you had what I call a reincarnation programming. And that's another video in my channel about this. What is reincarnation programming? Or as some people call soul contract. Actually, I don't think the term soul contract is appropriate because it's not necessarily your soul that makes contracts with other people, with other spirits, other souls, to go through specific situations in this life. Because your soul, your higher self, your perfect version. Actually, you are a version of your soul having experiences to evolve enough to be back to your source, your spiritual source, your soul. But that's another subject, more complicated. But the thing is, your spirit is a more lucid version of you. If you think you are smart here, your spirit is much smarter. When your spirit, your consciousness, because your consciousness is in your spirit, not in your physical brain. When your physical body is sleeping, your spirit lives it and goes to the astral plane. And then your consciousness is more lucid than when you are awake here. Okay, so you are much more lucid on the other side. Supposing you were not suffering and in a post-mortem psychosis after death on the other side, and that's another thing. But supposing you were lucid enough on the other side to request a reincarnation and have your request approved. You had the opportunity to be back here. And then you had a spirit mentor, like a good friend who knows you very well, responsible for participating in that reincarnation programming. What is that? Like I said in the other video, it's like a list, a small list of the main challenges and lessons for you to learn in this life. So, since your mentor took part in that process of programming this incarnation of yours, he knows what is really important for you. And your spirit mentor is responsible for helping you
accomplish
those tasks for this life. But it's important to say that your spirit mentor is not your nanny. What he or she can do is limited by your free will. Unless you are going really out of track, then they will make efforts to put you back on track so you won't waste your incarnation. Because as I said,
it's
a lot of work to program and to get an incarnation and to get a physical body. Many spirits just give up in the middle of the process. And that's why women shouldn't feel so guilty when having a miscarriage, because it's not necessarily their fault. They think it was their fault, they did something wrong, they didn't take care of their body or whatever. But many times the spirit, because we always have free will, the spirit can just give up because they realize that they are not ready, they don't feel ready to face the challenges for the next life. They feel scared and they just give up. And miscarriages have to do with this, the spirit giving up
on
reincarnating. But let's go back to the spirit mentor. He or she is not necessarily much more evolved than you, because there is this universal law, like attracts like. And many times the spirit mentor is just a little bit more evolved than the one they are mentoring. So you cannot assume that your mentor is a
spirit
of light. Also, because he or she is still learning as you are here. To have a very evolved spirit as your mentor, you should be more
awakened
spiritually
awakened
and more evolved too. Imagine you were a professor or someone with many skills. To accept someone to mentor, you would be at least demanding, right? You wouldn't accept
just anyone
you would like to have someone that would be smart, dedicated, and
disciplined
right? So it's the same on the other side. The more evolved the spirit, the more they can choose if they will mentor someone or not. As I said, it's important to know that your spirit mentor is not your nanny. So people who think that they can ask
4,
anything, any kind of help for small things in their daily life, that's so naive. Many people think that a dear family member, when they die, can become their
guardian angel,
like helping them in any small task. That's actually naive. It doesn't mean that you cannot have help in your life, but thinking that you can use someone as your
employee,
as someone to serve you at any time you want, like a spoiled kid, that's not how spirituality works. But you are free to believe in whatever you want. I'm not here to impose my point of view to anyone. So basically, your spirit mentor is someone who knows you very well, especially your weaknesses, and knows your programming for this life, and is responsible for keeping you on track. The thing is, you have free will and you forgot what you have planned for this life. So that means your mentor is probably having a lot of work with you. And then you can ask me,
Greicy, can I have more than one spirit helping me, guiding me in this life, mentoring me?
the answer is yes, but that will depend on the tasks you agreed to do in this life. The more complicated in terms of reaching many people and doing significant things that will positively affect other people, the more help you are supposed to have. But that is not really important, right? How many mentors you have. In my case, I call them just spiritual friends. I don't know who is the main one because I never ask it. In my opinion, that's not really important. I have spiritual friends and that's it. And I rarely, very rarely ask for help because I like to be independent. And it doesn't mean that I don't receive inspiration from them, but I'm not dependent. You see my point. I like to be independent. I like to be mature,
and make
my own decisions. Another thing that people ask in Brazil about this subject.
Is it possible that my spirit mentor will give up on being with me and I will have another one in that position?
Yes, because not only you, but
they
have free will as well. So if you are not doing your part, if you are not making the minimum effort to evolve, to accomplish your tasks for this life, to learn your lessons,
to overcome,
your challenges, if you are giving too much trouble and work, yes, your mentor
may
give up on you and decide to do something else. But you will always have someone not taking care of you because they are not your nanny, but
monitoring you,
what you are doing, what you have to do, what you agreed to do in this life. Or something that can also happen is you evolve so much in a short period of time, then you leave your mentor behind. And then you can have them replaced
by
someone with more knowledge to accompany you in life. That's not so common, but it's up to you. And it's interesting to consider that universal law
according,
to it, like attracts like. So if you are too stubborn, then the best for you is to have a very,
severe,
very hard spirit mentor. If you are more flexible and with a good sense of humor. Then you have a lighter one, someone not so hard and with a good sense of humor too. Everything depends on that principle. Like attracts like, not only in terms of the spiritual companies that we have, it's incarnated spirits, good or not so good, but even in this dimension, people you attract to your life, like family members, friends, they all have something in common to do with you, bad, positive, or negative. You are the source to attract everything and everyone in your life. So, what would be the tasks of a spirit mentor? Well, like I said, they are responsible for keeping you on track, but with limitations. For example, if you are in danger because you are not so responsible, they can protect you
To a certain point.
but there are cases that there is not much they can do because the person is too stupid or stubborn. One main characteristic of every spirit that works for the light, a light worker, is to respect free will. Sometimes your mentor can let you do silly things or mistakes if they realize that would be the best way for you to learn a lesson. Because when we make a big mistake, especially if it results in suffering, uh, it's easier for most of us to learn a lesson with that situation, right? So, as I said, your spirit mentor is not your nanny, it's not your daddy, it's not your mommy to protect you from everything and to spoil you because, your parents can
Spoil you.
and prevent you from growing, from becoming mature, right? So that is not helpful. And your mentor is here to help you
Overcome.
your challenges, learn your lessons, and then you can ask me.
Greicy, how can I know who is my spirit mentor?
That's a very good question. There are ways that you can try to get in contact with them, like
Emptying.
your mind through meditation. And if you are in a calm place, in a calm state of mind, ask them to get closer and send you any sign. Not necessarily an image in your mind, because that is not important how they look like. But you can only receive any message, any inspiration from your mentor if your mind is quiet, is peaceful. If you are too worried, you won't listen because telepatia. Telepathy. Because telepathy is a very thorough and delicate process. That's how spirits communicate on the other side. But here, for us, it's not difficult to receive a thought, but to identify it is another thing. Identify and accept as something that came from outside that is not from you. I think it's a matter of practice. For example, in my case, I know when an idea that comes to my mind is from a spiritual friend or from my soul. It's a matter of practice to know the difference between them, or if it's an idea, a thought from my own mind. Your spirit mentor is supposed to help you, right? Help in terms of guidance, not help with small things of your daily life. Eventually, they can help you with that, but if they are really serious and evolved in their consciousness, they won't accept to do that kind of thing. They will be more demanding in terms of when, how, and if help you with something. They have free will as well. But especially if you are going through a very challenging situation, very hard, that's when you can ask for their help, like sending you a sign or anything to clarify, to give you a better understanding of what to do, how to do. They won't do your job for you because they are not there to spoil you, but they can give you guidance, inspiration. And it's up to you to be open enough in your mind and in your heart to accept whatever guidance or inspiration they send you. And that's why it's important to have a peaceful mind, because if you are too worried, too anxious about the future, imagining, expecting bad things, negative things to happen, then you are so confused that you won't be able to absorb any thought, any idea. That's why meditation can be so helpful to empty your mind and receive wise guidance, not only from your mentor, but from your soul, your higher self too. And I think, as someone who likes to be independent, that is much better to ask for my soul's help than for my spirit mentor's help. Because I don't treat my spiritual friends as
My employees.
they're not supposed to serve me. I respect them as friends, so I don't abuse them, not at all. And that's only because I have access to my soul. As a therapist, I do soul retrieval, something that I learned on the other side through astral projections, modern techniques to do that without rituals or hypnosis. And it's an ability that I developed with time, accepting the presence, the influence of my own soul. So today I know when it's my soul manifesting through me to deliver a message, for example, in this YouTube channel. Another question.
Greicy, does everyone have a spirit mentor?
Yes,
Even a criminal, a bad person, a politician?
yes, they have. Everyone.
Has a spirit mentor.
With a level of consciousness compatible with,
The incarnated person.
and in those
Cases.
I feel sorry for their spirit mentor. It must be a lot of work to accompany a not so good person, a dishonest politician, for example. Can you imagine that? Or a criminal? But, you know, everyone gets what they deserve, what they can attract, what they are able to have in terms of similarity. So if you want to have amazing spiritual friends, very wise spiritual friends, on the other side, you better work on your self-improvement, on your awakening, evolving your consciousness. It's your gain, it's your profit. It's like here, if you want to have better friends, really nice people around you, you have to deserve them, their company, right? What do you have to offer in return? And one thing very interesting and nice to consider is when you end this incarnation, this life, and leave your physical body, your spirit mentor, your spiritual friend will be waiting for you on the other side. When I say on the other side is another dimension, the astral dimension. and they will welcome you. Even if you are too confused to the point of not being able to see them with your spiritual eyes, you have someone very dear, maybe a family member you know in this life, someone will welcome you on the other side. So that's a beautiful reason, in my opinion, not to be afraid of dying. You won't be alone. No one dies alone. Someone will welcome you. And after a while, depending on your level of consciousness after disincarnating, your spirit mentor can take you to a special session to reveal the main moments of your life, of your incarnation. And then you can have explanation and answers for many questions you had while here. Like why that thing happened to me, especially if you felt
Wronged.
if you kept the impression in you that what happened wasn't fair. You can have all the explanations. Some people say that when you leave your physical body, definitely you see like a movie in your mind, in your consciousness of the main events you went through, like your whole life passing through your eyes or your mind. That process can be done on the other side when you get back your lucidity with the help of your spirit mentor, and even remembering past lives and making the connection between what happened like centuries ago and what happened in your recent incarnation. Then you can make the link and better understand many situations in your life. So at the end, everything will make sense and will seem fair, especially if challenging situations you went through were chosen by you before incarnating in that reincarnation programming. So in this video, I wanted to talk a bit more about spirituality in practice to make you aware that you are not alone. It doesn't matter what happens in your life, you always have someone
By your side.
to help you accomplish the planning you agreed with before taking this physical body, before reincarnating. If you have any question, you can email me. Okay, thank you very much for watching and